Hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace. I'm going to try and make this video as quickly as I can because I don't want it to go too long. I have picked up a number of records over the past couple of weeks. I still don't have my Nukem turntable back, but I did get the merchant out at the flea market to take that other one back because it was just, I just liked the way it sounded. A cheap 1970s transistor radio. Anyway, he took that back, gave me full credit for it, store credit, and I proceeded to buy a lot of 12-inch maxi singles, which I'll have to get to at another date. And prior to that, I had picked up a number of ABBA albums that were not released in the US, kind of. Some of them were, and some of them weren't, but these are foreign pressings. I did have a couple of American pressings, a Brazil pressing, and 3 Japan pressings. I have since added 2 more Brazil pressings, one from Sweden and one from Yugoslavia. Something else I'm going to have to get to, because I haven't picked them up yet, is I have purchased 150 78 RPM records from this dealer. I already have over 1,000, but real quickly, I have them in the standard 10-inch size, and I have them in the one of the earlier sizes, 12 inches, and I have them from the US, the UK, Germany, and Italy, such as this 12-inch one from Germany, and of course I have a lot of these promotional 78s that are actually made out of vinyl. So when you play these, you have to use the vinyl stylus and not the one meant for your standard conventional 78 made out of shellac and various filler elements, because that needle will tear one of these up. If you use a vinyl stylus on a shellac 78, you'll rip that stylus right out of the cartridge. But anyway, this is made out of vinyl. And all the ones that I have that are made out of vinyl are promotional discs made by RCA, and most of those are, for some strange reason, polkas. About putting everything back later. This one it feels like it's made out of vinyl, but anyway, I have a lot of 78s on the King label. But what I wanted to touch on are the singles that I got in from Denmark, and also touch on Meco, because I've added a lot of Meco to my collection. For those of you who weren't around in the 70s, he had a massive success with this LP. Music inspired by Star Wars and other galactic funk. Now, side 1 is devoted entirely to the soundtrack of Star Wars. Side 2 is comprised of 3 seamless tracks: Other, Galactic, Funk. Now, someone took this LP to John Williams, who wrote the original score for Star Wars, thinking he would be indignant that somebody had dared to turn his classical score into disco. But he listened to it and he actually liked it. And he actually writes a letter of recommendation on the back of one of the LPs I'm going to show you, as does director John Landis, who also likes Meco. But the success of that LP led to a lot of inferior stuff coming out. Usually if it's on the Pickwick label and it's disco, it's trash. But there were a whole lot of these coming out in the wake of the success of Meco's album. In fact, there was a single cut from Meco's album that was also a big hit. It charted in the top 40, I don't remember exactly where. But John Williams' original music score was also cut down to a single and was a top 40 hit. Before I get to Meco, more trash. This spawned a single. Can't remember if I said single or sequel before, but if I said sequel, I meant single. Okay, now on to the good stuff. After the success of this LP, came this LP, Meco's Encounters of Every Kind. Now, this is a concept album. The concept is that he has a time machine and he travels way back to 1,348,264 BC. And then he moves forward through time and you hear the various styles of music. And he has a theme for the time machine. So whenever you hear that theme, you know that time machine is in activation. And the final track is theme from Close Encounters, which was also released as a single. But the theme prior to that is Meco's theme, 1978 AD, New York City, atop the Millennium Building. Millennium was the label owned by Casablanca. I don't know if you can make out that Casablanca logo underneath the Millennium logo or not. Next came this album. Side 1 is devoted entirely to the soundtrack to Star Trek the Motion Picture, and Side 2 is dedicated entirely to the soundtrack to the Disney film The Black Hole. I prefer the Star Trek side. on Casablanca. Next came an album. There was an audiophile magazine that I subscribed to for a long time, for years and years and years, called Stereo Review. And in each issue they would review a handful of albums. And they held disco in quite a bit of disdain. But this is an album they could not help but like. They gave it a favorable review. This is Meco's version of The Wizard of Oz. Now, there are two versions of this album. This version they have identical jackets. And in keeping with the spirit of the Yellow Brick Road, it was also pressed in yellow vinyl. I don't know how common each is relative to the other. I have one copy of it in black and two in yellow. This is something I didn't even know existed until I was doing a search for something else by Meco on eBay. And this is a 12-inch maxi single for The Wizard of Oz. What's unique about this, aside from the fact that it's pressed in yellow vinyl, it's not too unique because a lot of maxi singles were pressed in colored vinyl. What's unique about this one, though, is it's single-sided. Trying to go as fast as I can. Okay, going back to John Williams. He did an album called Superman and Other Galactic Heroes. Super Meco. This has a letter of endorsement on the back from John Williams. I won't bother showing you this because it's on conventional black vinyl on the Millennium, no wait a minute, Casablanca label. This was the official soundtrack album to this movie. Meco, Impressions of an American Werewolf in London. Now, there is a letter on the back of this from John Landis. And he points out that A, he's a fan of Meco, and B, the studio really wanted Meco to do the soundtrack album. And this was not without problems because the movie contains three versions, three different performances of Blue Moon. So, and there were only like, what did he say, there is 6 or 7 minutes, I'm not finding it, but 6 or 7 minutes of music that was composed for this. So it was entrusted to Meco to come up with the soundtrack album. Meco. And the lucky dog there getting to kiss the lovely Jenny Agutter. This is on Casablanca, but as you probably noticed, manufactured and marketed by Polygram Records. Okay, this is one I did not know even existed. Meco's Pop Goes to Movies. I won't go over the list of movies covered, but it's really good, and it points to why John Williams is such a fan of Meco's. The arrangements. Here's another one I didn't know existed. This is Meco doing adaptations of big band music. This time he's on the Arista label. Okay, I'm getting down to the singles that I got from Denmark. I also wanted to show you, I picked up the single released by Casablanca. Main title theme from Superman. And on the flip side, the love theme from Superman, which I've always not liked, regardless of who's doing it. I mean, in the original movie I didn't like it. This is Meco's The Raiders March from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And Cairo Nights. Bolero to Cairo. This one, the sleeve is a little chewed up, but I can't help that. That's how it comes. This takes the opening song from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and does it disco style. Anything Goes. And on the flip side, Music Makers. Okay, now for the singles that I got from Denmark. One is an Australian group, a glam group. There aren't that many glam groups that I like. I like this group. I like Queen. The Sweet. Now, this single was released in the US. Same combination, Wig Wham Bam on the A side and New York Connection on the B side. But the American release did not have a picture sleeve version. This one, which it says quite clearly, was manufactured in Germany, did come in a picture sleeve. In fact, I have found through my internet wanderings that that's true of a lot of artists. Songs that were released here that but didn't get a picture sleeve oftentimes did in other markets. Okay, this is a German group, manufactured and released in Germany. It's techno, and this is the strangest version of the Bill Haley classic Rock Around the Clock that you are likely to come across from Telex. That's the name of the group. Side 2 is Moscow Disco. Okay, and finally, a Danish singer who was also very popular in Germany. And she can sing in German and does so on this release. She wound up living in Sweden, I believe. She quit. She was charting clear up until 1995, and stopped touring in 2005, and sadly passed away in 2010. But both the A side and the B side are sung in German, and both sides of the sleeve are identical. This is on the metronome label. Okay, I've ordered 3 more records, singles, from abroad. So when those come, I will show them to you. As usual, links down there, and stay awesome. 1970s transistor radio. Anyway, he took that back, gave me full credit for it, store credit, and I proceeded to buy a lot of 12-inch maxi singles, which I'll have to get to at another date. And prior to that, I had picked up a number of ABBA albums that were not released in the US, kind of. Some of them were, and some of them weren't. But these are, hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace. I'm going to try and make this video as quickly as I can because I don't want it to go too long. I have picked up a number of records over the past couple of weeks. I still don't have my Nukem turntable back, but I did get the merchant out at the flea market to take that other one back because it was just, I just liked the way it sounded. A cheap foreign pressings. I did have a couple of American pressings, a Brazil pressing, and 3 Japan pressings. I have since added 2 more Brazil pressings, one from Sweden and one from Yugoslavia. Something else I'm going to have to get to, because I haven't picked them up yet, is I have purchased Germany and Italy, such as this 12-inch one from Germany. Of course, I have a lot of these 150 78 RPM records from this dealer. I already have over 1,000, but real quickly, I have them in the standard 10-inch size, and I have them in the one of the earlier sizes, 12 inches. And I have them from the US, the UK,